Hey guys, glad you stopped by. So today, we're gonna make something that we're gonna have it with dinner because we're gonna have a salad with it, but it's something that's very versatile. You could have them for lunch, you could make them for parties, you could have them for dinner, you can have them as a side dish. You know, I mean, these would even go good with some eggs in the morning for breakfast, and that's sausage rolls. I was talking to one of our friends here on our YouTube neighborhood about them last week and how they are very popular in the UK. But prior to that, I follow a guy on YouTube. I'm subscribed to his channel. His name is John Kirkwood, and he lives over in England and in the UK, and he is a retired cook. Great channel. If you get a chance, I highly recommend you check him out. Cooks all kinds of stuff, and I've only made a couple of his recipes, I think, over the years, but I've been dying to try several of his recipes, and I thought, you know, this is kind of a sign, because the video I just watched prior to the conversation I had was on sausage rolls. And then all of a sudden it's, hey, you should really try sausage rolls. They're really popular over here in the UK, and you know, and they sound really good. So I thought, why not? Let's try them. These particular sausage rolls, it's simple ingredients, even though I am missing one of them that I kind of wanted to put in there, but that's all right. We can run without it, and that's sage. Normally, you know, I wanted to put sage in it, some white pepper, along with the sausage, and then some, I'm going to put a little crushed red pepper in it, and some finely diced onion. Really easy to do, and then we're going to wrap that in this case, a puff pastry. You know, that way it has a flaky crust on the outside. I was, but you could use anything. I mean, you could use a pie crust. You could use crescents. Pretty much anything that, you know, gives it a nice flaky crust. Even a good butter crust. Now, I was going to make my own puff pastry. I just don't have time. Puff pastry is so delicious, but it's also a little time consuming to make. And maybe if I get an opportunity over the next week or two, I'll do a separate video on how to make it, because it's not hard. It just takes a little bit of time, but I think the efforts are well worth it. But anyhow, this is something that you could actually do with your kids or your grandkids, you know, or I mean, whoever, or if you're new to cooking, or just something that's quick and easy for a weeknight. This would be it, hands down. So anyhow, that being said, if you're new, welcome, glad to stop by. If you are returning or one of my new subscribers, welcome back and thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And comments, always welcome. I answer all comments, no matter how many I get, and at times I get a lot. I think if you take the time to comment, I should take the time to respond. So, that being said, why don't we jump on down here to the counter and we're going to get started on these sausage rolls. Alright, hold on for me 1 second. Okay, we are down here at the counter. So like I said, quick, easy, no fuss, no muss. First thing we're going to do is turn our oven on 350 degrees. And we're going to make sure there's nothing in there, because at least in my household that happens quite a bit. Something funny. I have every gadget known to man, I think, in the kitchen. And yet, Chris comes to me yesterday and says, hey, where's the egg slicer? Because we've been on a salad kick lately, and we wanted to put some eggs in it. Some hard-boiled eggs. And I was like, I don't think we have one. She goes, yeah, it's around here somewhere. I guess we have owned this egg slicer, really nice egg slicer, for about, I don't know, 6-7 years now. Never once knew it. The things you learn. I just thought that was really cool and wanted to share it with you. So, really, the only thing you'll need is, if you're not making your own puff pastry, get one package of puff pastries and go ahead and get them thawed. I got mine thawed right here, sitting on a sheet, folded out, and mine are 9 by 9. I know, like John's recipe called for, he used his own, and his sheet was, whole piece was 10 by 17, I think, and he got 8 out of his. We're gonna get 8 out of ours because I have 2 here. I'll just quarter these, and they're floured. You got to make sure you flour your puff pastries or they will stick to everything. So first thing we need to do is make our sausage up. So I've got 1 pound of ground sausage in my bowl. And then I've got 1 whole medium onion in here, diced up, finely diced up, but I'm only going to use half of it. I don't want to kill it with the onion. I want to be able to taste everything we're going to put in it. And to this, I am going to add 1 teaspoon of white pepper. Now, if you don't have white pepper, that's fine. You can use black pepper, whatever your fancy is. Although there is a difference. White pepper has a good flavor, and if you don't have any, you should get some because it's really good. It's not called for in many dishes, but you'll create dishes for white pepper. And then I am going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper. Just red pepper, chili flakes, just like such, like you put on your pizza or, in your sauce. But I'm going to put that in there. Now, the one ingredient I don't have that I was kind of hoping to be able to put in here is sage, of all things. I don't know how I don't have any, but I don't. And that's all right. We can go without it this go around. Now, with these sausage rolls, like I said, you can make them for any time. You could do these for a breakfast and do like a breakfast sausage roll, which would be, amazingly good. And you want to mix this all together. I'm just using my hand to do that with. But we could have added a little, maple syrup into this, or, some breakfast seasonings, or, just anything. The possibilities are truly endless. It's kind of like making hamburgers. You can put anything in a hamburger, right? I mean, we could put cheese in this, and it would be good. I mean, you could just really do a lot with it, make it your own. I'm actually taking 2 different ideas and combining them. John's had the sage, white pepper, and in it, and that was it. But I thought, no, it was recommended onion and crushed red pepper was what our friend here in the neighborhood puts in his, and I thought, well, let's just combine the 2. But once again, I didn't have sage. But there's a million. What would you put in it? That's the question. What would you put in it? All right, so we've got that mixed. We're just gonna go ahead and set this to the side real quick, and we're gonna go ahead and grab our pastry crust, and then I'm gonna take a second because I forgot something, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I need something to cut the pastry crust with. And can you see the pastry crust? Yes, you can. All right, so what we need to do is, like I said, these are 9 by 9 or 23 centimeter by 23, and I'm just going to cut these into squares. But to make sure they're even, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to take my ruler. I used to laugh when I first started baking and cooking, when I saw the first time I ever saw somebody pull out a ruler for baking and cooking. I'm like, who the heck uses a ruler? But oddly enough, a lot of people do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this butter knife here, and I'm going to mark 4.5 on the edges, just like such. Got it marked. So we'll go ahead, and I'm just going to use my pizza cutter and cut my puff pastry with it. And we're going to cut this into 4 pieces, and then I'm going to do the same with the other one. And then that way, and then I'll just set them to the side and we can start assembly. All right, I'll see you here in a second. All right, so now we're moving on to assembly. I've got my sausage right here, so I've got my scale right here. I'm going to need 8 sausage balls. And I've got some flour here on my counter. And the reason why I have some flour on my counter is because I'm actually going to roll these out, but I want to weigh them out. I'm going to weigh them out. Now, if you don't have a scale, which you should if you do any kind of baking, I can tell you mine are going to weigh about 61 grams a piece. Now, if you don't, just make sure you put them into 8 equal parts. I got 61 stuck in my head. But what we're going to do is, after we make that ball, we're just going to simply roll it. But see how it's nothing sticking to the counter? That's always nice. But we're going to roll this into 4.5 inch, close to 4.5 inch rolls, just like such. Can you see that? Can't tell? Yeah. All right. Sorry, my monitor's right here. Normally it sits right below the camera there where you're at, but I moved it today. So we'll go down to 4.5 inches, or about 4 1/4, so that way I got a little bit of the dough sticking on the end. After I do that, I'm simply going to set it to the side for right now. Okay, so we got all our sausages rolled up. Nice and neat, 8 of them. Voila! So now we just have to do a couple things to, or one thing to our pastry real quick. And that is make sure they're cut, first of all. Huh, that's embarrassing. That's alright though, fact of life, right? If you weren't here visiting, I would still have had that problem no matter what. So this is real life. Alright, so next thing we need to do is I've got 1 egg right here. And I have just added a splash, about a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons worth of milk into it. And then I whipped it real good. See how it's nice and runny? That's what you're looking for. It's no different than doing an egg wash for a pie. You know, the variant in my case being that when I do my egg washes for my pies, I just use a splash of water. But we're going to do milk with this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to brush what is at the moment the tops, which will be the insides of our pastries. You know, our puff pastry that we cut 4.5 inches square, just like such. We'll do this with all 8 of them. Alright, so we got our egg wash on. So the next thing we need to do is just go ahead and take our sausage. We're going to put it in there, or put it on top of it, and you're going to put it on the end, just like such. And then we're going to roll this around, just like that, and press it, just like that. And then I've got a cookie sheet right here with some parchment paper. And we'll go ahead and set our roll on there, and we're going to put it so it's the crease side is down. All right, so like that, so the crease is on the bottom. And I'm going to get these all together here real quick, and I'll be right back. So all we have left to do, one more step, won't take long, and then we can put them in the oven, is we're going to take that egg wash and we're going to go ahead and just hit the outsides of these real quick, and that way they get a nice golden brown look on that pastry. Okay, we got them all egg washed, just like such. So now all we gotta do is stick them in the oven. We'll talk about how long to bake them for. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and set our timer. John said 20-25 minutes on his. That seems to be about the standard at 350 degrees or 180 degrees Celsius, which is actually about 343 degrees. If your oven will do 343, awesome. But I got mine set at 350. I am going to go 20 minutes and then I'll check them. What are we looking for? Well, the sausage will be done in about 15 minutes. But what we're looking for is that pastry crust. Nice golden brown in color. Yeah, is what we're looking for. So I'm going to say 20 to 25 minutes at most. But I'll let you know at least what my oven does when I come back. Meanwhile, I'm going to let these bake and turn golden brown and delicious. All right, I'll see you here in 1 second. Okay, so we got them out of the oven, and in my case, it took 30 minutes, but I really wanted a nice golden brown look to them. But there they are. And that, 20 minutes to, in this case, 30 minutes, well, this looks so good, don't they? Kids, it smells fantastic. Will depend on the crust you use. So, I used a pastry crust, a store-bought pastry crust. If you make your own, 1/8 inch thick is what you want to roll them out to. It may only take 20 minutes. If you use a pie-style crust, it may take 35-40 minutes. It really will depend on what kind of crust you use is the amount of time, but 20 to 25 minutes is a good starting point at any rate. I read the back of the box for these pastry crusts here, 15-20 minutes is what it calls for just the crust. But yet, in this case, it took a little longer. Part of that was the egg wash. But anyhow, enough talking. I pulled them out of the oven. I let them set for 10 minutes. That way it didn't melt our face trying to try one. But now it's time to try one, right? And I'm here. I'm so excited. That is perfect. That is absolutely amazing. In this case, the pastry crust is really flaky. That sausage is actually very flavorful. The white pepper gave it just enough without giving it, that extra spice. And just a small amount of crushed red pepper we put in there. Perfect. Added a ton of flavor as it cooked. The onion, I love onion. Adds a nice taste to it. That is, Amazing. Just amazing. This is a must try. I'm digging it. I mean, I kind of had an idea in my head how it was going to taste. That met all that expectations and then gave it an extra check mark all the way across. That, yeah, doggy. That is good stuff. I'm here to tell you. Give these a try. Let me know if you do. Or if you have a variant. Because I was sitting here thinking about it. You could do this with a ground chicken, a ground turkey, beef, and add so many different flavors, spices, varieties, that it would just be, the possibilities are endless. But I really, just the sausage, the onion, and a little bit of spice with the pepper and the chili peppers, perfect, just perfect. I can see maybe drizzling a little spicy mustard on this, or some honey. Honey would be good drizzled on this. But this will be a perfect complement to the salad that me and Chris are going to eat. Hands down. Hands down. These are great. Give these a try. If you do, let me know down in the comments. Or if you have a variation that you want to let everybody know about, let us know down in the comments. I think that would be awesome. You will not be disappointed with these by any means. So tomorrow for dessert, I'm kind of torn between a couple different things at the moment. One is a mahogany cake that is the parent of the red velvet cake. It is a 1920s cake that uses just the cocoa, but there's a lot of technicals to it, but it gives it the cake itself a nice mahogany color. And we're going to try, and there's an icing that goes with it that I can't remember the name of it offhand. I'll put it right here. It begins with an E. Ermine icing. That is a very old school icing. It predates buttercream, but oddly enough, it has a bunch of butter in it. And that sounds wonderful and delicious and right up my alley. It sounds very fall. When I think mahogany, I think lumber, I think wood, I think fall. The other one is a Philly fluff cake. And it's essentially like a pound cake met an angel food cake to an extent. And it sounds wonderful and delicious also, and easy to make. So that's a possibility. I haven't decided which one yet. I know the week after we are going to attempt that water pie. I really want to try it. It sounds incredibly interesting because it shouldn't work, but I think it will. All the same. But anyhow, I want to get these over the table with the salad and enjoy some dinner with the family. So until tomorrow for dessert, I love you. I love you very much, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else you love them and you love them very much. They may need to hear it. It's going to make them smile either way. Probably feel a little good on the inside. It's going to make you smile and feel good to tell them, I guarantee it. You make them some of these sausage rolls, they're going to smile. Want to sit down for dinner, probably have conversation. And there's enough there. You could invite at least a neighbor or a friend, maybe two. You never know. And probably pass one off to the mailman as he's walking by the next day. Heat it up for him. Let him eat it while he's out delivering mail. Anyhow, till tomorrow for dessert. I love you, and I'll see you then. All right? See you later. Bye-bye.